Now, for those who are prepared to witness how Lubre got full courtside with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Karen, following the first concert on his tour that he hadn't canceled in a long time. And to top it all off, we learned some really intriguing Kendrick Lamar news that may portend something really significant. Make sure to subscribe and give a like. And now, just like every day, the ice guy is still melting and missing on all fronts. And the adult icemen are yelling at me for hiding the reality of what's going on. We will require the assistance, so please be sure to leave that like. Given that, let's talk about the man who made a sincere effort to persuade us that he makes a livelihood studying rap fights. Listen, now that I'm sitting here and excited to cover new music and new things, we're talking about another crash out that he did after witnessing the complete breakdown of insanity that has occurred over the past few days with the tour failing and the songs flopping. I must admit that the shenanigans we continue to witness and the items on exhibit have reached a point where you simply have to sit there and question what Drake is actually attempting to accomplish and what is truly going on with this guy, as we recently witnessed with the end of the Anita Max win run of shows, which Drake had promised to reschedule but failed to do so after several months. It appears that after canceling shows, everyone is realizing that there is absolutely no excitement surrounding them and that no one wants the tickets, and then they are canceling an entire tour forever. Drake is actually continuing a run that, in my opinion, is just causing him humiliation and nothing else in the worst possible way. He is not merely experiencing a run of defeats, a comeback, or anything similar. In fact, this is the case. In the case of the courtside Karen of rap, he does not even consider trying to elevate his rank and do anything to enhance his reputation while doing so. He seems increasingly eager to just produce these viral moments in which we are all ridiculing him. And the reason I say all of this is because, in regard to Drake's most recent performance at the not-so-special Shows for You in Amsterdam, he actually maintains whatever energy he does have throughout the entire set list, because he doesn't do anything that truly calls for him to use it. This isn't even a joke, to reiterate. Significant because even during the most hyped songs, if you watch any video of these concerts, Drake only shouts a few times and acts like a zealous DJ before letting the speakers play his whole discography as he stands there. Now, to be honest, Drake could believe that he can do more gigs since traveling isn't necessarily as exhausting. I believe that we are beginning to realize what a grave error this is. Most artists are so exhausted that they never even let themselves feel humiliated, even when they are giving it their best to attempt to energize their fans. However, this couldn't be further from the reality for Drake, similar to what he just did. He eventually had a horrible moment where he simply began one of his terrible tirades, which he made a concerted effort to pass off as a motivating speech for the first few lines. However, it soon devolved into another "please validate my loss" response to Kendrick Lamar's admission that I didn't get here by being a snake. I got here by being kind and considerate to others. I have straight karma. Drake concluded his tirade by stating, "All my dogs, I appreciate you." People really started barking back at him after that, and many of them did. This is the issue, after all. First of all, if you were among the adults who were genuinely yapping at Drake like a dog during one of his concerts, well, you know what? Sincerely, I won't even express what I want to say right now, given what Drake did and how disgusting it is. When will he acknowledge that he is now stealing not just his fans and the OVO community as a whole, but also his own reputation and legacy? Since we are aware of the situation's truth after hearing Drake say these things, let's simply go down and dissect Drake's statements word by word. Which brings us back to Drake's claim that he got here by being kind and friendly to others, not by being a snake or a part of Wagwan Delilah, and that his karma is straight as a result. Let me just ask, is your karma really straight for the man who is previously Aubrey, but changed to Libri? For starters, let's begin with the individual, Who has contributed the most to your career? And without Lil Wayne, who is currently betraying his trust by hopping around with his girl, not being a piece of trash, or being kind to people to the point where your karma is straight and you're not worried about anything, you wouldn't have even received a hip-hop card on the highest level. And let's continue past Wayne now. Is not being a snake by doing the exact same thing you did to Wayne to Future? Disparaging him on 2 consecutive albums, getting disparaged back, and then moaning and crying about it once again. And we can continue. Telling someone close to Metro Boomin that you don't give a damn about how he's coping with losing his mother. All you want is for your bit to be a stand-up routine that a truly remarkable individual would perform. Furthermore, we need not end here. It's always implying that you were following the man who made graduations in the past, and that you were, perhaps, with Kim Kardashian when he had a whole family with her, who was also a decent person. However, was it also beneficial to include women in your arguments with Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar, or LeBron because they were stand-up comedians and made some terrible, unfounded allegations about them? To sum up, this is hanging around with individuals who have bad pasts and backgrounds and who stand for a lot of dreadful things. Whether it's DDG, Morgan Wallen, or countless others, you're always this kind man. Because let's not forget, when you stand by these individuals, you are subtly telling everyone that their heinous behavior is okay. In addition to all of this, there are a ton of other odd topics we might discuss. Actually, we could go on forever, but you get the idea. In actuality, Drake has not been who he claims to be. Additionally, he couldn't be the most distant object from this for a long time, for a variety of reasons. Drake has always been the complete antithesis of anything, even somewhat admirable or moral. Furthermore, Drake is attempting to use his performance as a platform to further his quest for acceptance as one of the worst performers in the music business in a long time. And then for him to attempt to create this appearance of being a greater guy when, in fact, we all know he is not because of his past of absolutely terrible and odd things. Loser love and the law must end. At the same time, these awkward situations are all that we witness during Drake's performances. In the meantime, we are witnessing audience after crowd go completely wild for every single song by Kendrick Lamar, from the deepest cuts to the greatest bangers. They will no longer toy with the king of rap. Speaking of the king of rap and Kendrick Lamar, there is some very exciting news coming from both of them at the same time that Drake is dropping out. It all revolves around something entirely new from the minds that are in charge of everything that has changed and elevated hip-hop to the greatest level it can be in this day and age. And the item I'm discussing today is something they came up with called Project 3, and now this is something that is going to accomplish incredible feats. According to my quote, this is a full-service agency providing creative direction, content creation, production services, and brand design and strategy. And now with this new endeavor from Dot and Day 3, it's very evident from how they launched it and how they are presenting its goal that it's a major step to grow and transform PG Lang into something much bigger and something they truly want to do, which is to do more than just establish a model label or hip-hop agency in general. You might now add this to the list of things that Kendrick Lamar truly followed through on, as he did hint at it in the difficult Part 6. Drake, meanwhile, has never once made any of his statements a reality. In all seriousness, however, they are constructing what they believe will be the next creative agency of the future. And they are really going all out with it now, applying their style to all of the other works of art and events that have fallen under their titles in recent years. And in all honesty, they want to achieve this by just taking the time and quality control they already have and expanding it even further. This is precisely what Dave Freeze stated, and we have now received some remarks from him on future developments. And I genuinely believe that while rap is seeing greater projects these days, there are also more crashes and chaos, which is somewhat diluting things. It's crucial to just read one of the brilliant minds behind everything amazing that is happening. With Project 3, there is no yearning for endless expansion. He wants the business to grow, but at a rate that prioritizes quality over quantity to make sure the work is in line with their ethics and mission. I don't see us doing anything with anyone. Therefore, that will be the determining factor in how effective this can be. Free claims that we are unquestionably adopting a more upscale strategy. He clarifies that the objective is to provide brands with a solid basis for sustained success. I don't consider how a brand will fare in the upcoming quarter when I examine it. I'm considering how to get them to the next 10 years, he says. I'm working to turn their greatest asset into a standard that all other businesses may use. In a world and era where people are upset about how diluted everything has become, how little care is given to a lot of what is coming out, and how pretty much every single entity is producing slop for short-term benefit when we simply comprehend this thought process and see what Kendrick and Dave Free have already brought to rap. The NFL, Chanel, Gatorade, and so much else that they have had their hands on. In terms of hip-hop, this is actually the root cause of every issue that arose. Throughout the Drake era, finding a practical solution to these problems and beginning to balance out the trash that seems to be coming faster and faster, along with everything else, with just experiences and a quality control level that feels worthwhile, is what Kendrick and Dave Free are doing right now, which is one of the bravest things we have seen in any kind of creative field. This is true not only for the creative side, but also for the industry side. And when we see that this is the extent of Kendrick and his team's thinking and the ceiling they are aiming for, it is once more a far higher level than what we have witnessed. This should only increase your curiosity and excitement for what PG Lang will do as they grow into a more significant creative force. Furthermore, the fact that so much amazing stuff is coming to pass indicates that Kendrick will keep pushing the envelope both on and off the mic. During all of this, Drake is acting like a complete fool by postponing his tour in order to have a public breakdown in which he humiliates himself and all of his past actions. Once more, I would want to question everyone who is watching this, even the irate Drake fans, to be honest, who won the beef. Since one is attempting to modify art and the other is only lying to try to persuade himself of something he doesn't even believe, it is impossible for anybody to be honest with themselves and be checked into reality. There has never been a clearer explanation. Now that you have mentioned all of this, please let me know. What are your thoughts on Lubre, the loser, and his most recent fallout? In addition, how do you feel about Kendrick Lamar's efforts to advance the goals of whatever his whole team is working on? I'm eager to hear your thoughts on all of this right now. Finally, if you watched the entire video, please remember to subscribe and like it. It is really helpful to me. If you're curious about how Drake abruptly canceled a whole leg of his tour immediately before this, here it is. And this appears to be dreadful. Watch the recommended video.